Unburdened. Welcome to Unburdened. I'm Derek. He's Corbin. That's Gerald. And this is a show focused primarily on black men talking about mental health issues and also toxic masculinity and things that have leached into our lives that we now see as items that have held ourselves or others back through either us using it wittingly or unwittingly. We also talk about jobs and stuff like that. You can email us at blackandunburdened@gmail.com. The Twitter is unburdenedpod. And you can send us a voicemail at 916-572-9016. Before we get started, I want to read this tweet that we received right around Christmas Eve from Jason, who is the host of the Radio BSOTS podcast. That's BSOTS podcast. And he said quite simply, every time I listen to Unburdened Pod, I feel like I'm being equipped with tools to help me become a better father, a better husband, and a better man. I truly appreciate the conversations on this show. We've been doing this for 3 months, fellas, give or take. And it's good to know that other folks are hearing what we're saying, processing what we're saying, and also thinking about how they too can take steps to unburden themselves of the things that they have come across or learned in their walks of life. So, Jason, I want to thank you so much for listening to the show. I greatly appreciate it. I know the gentlemen say the same. Gerald, how are you doing today? Or rather, Gerald or Corbin, y'all got anything you want to say? Of course not.
Not. I'm trying to think of something. Christmas went well. Everything was great. I made it home. Families, everybody's happy. I went to Walgreens on Christmas morning and bought some furniture polish and cleaned my house. I was the only one here.
Armed only with a bottle of furniture polish, huh? That's all it takes nowadays?
And an old T-shirt. That was it. Yeah. I mean, I dusted everything. Ceiling fans, everything. Baseboards, I got it all. And it felt good.
Good. Did you play music in the background? Black folks can't clean without music.
Of course. You know black folks can't clean without music. Oh, yeah. I got a whole cleaning playlist, sir.
Yeah. We talked about that, actually. We
yes,
discussed
we did.
That.
42 songs to clean to.
Yeah, I'd be looping a lot because it takes me a while to do that. Gerald, how's your Christmas?
I don't really Christmas much. So
how's your 25th?
It was cool. The people were great. My mom and my son came up, and we just kind of chilled. It was really funny because so my son who just turned 17 last month, he gets up here and we're sitting down in the living room watching TV, and he's so transparent. He was like, so Dad, you still be going to the gym? You still be hooping a little bit? I'm like, yeah, I still play a little bit. He's like, oh, for real? So you want to go to the gym? I was like, so you think you ready? He's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm like, so you think this is your year? Yes, sir. I'm like, all right, we'll go to the gym. Because, like I said, we've had this tumultuous basketball relationship, right? So now he's a little older, a little taller. He hits the weights, thinks he's ready. We went to the gym, and we got to the gym, whatever. Long story short, I got picked up on a team before he and his little friend get picked up on a team. The first game, I think I shot like 9 shots. I hit all 9 of them, and his little buddy is just like, "You don't miss." I'm like, yeah, I'm old. I'm not dead. So then we play against each other like maybe 2 hours, right? He's on another team, I'm on this team. Everybody gets done playing, and we getting ready to leave. I was like, "So you want to go ahead and play 1-on-1?" He's like, "Nah, I mean, I'm kind of tired." I'm like, "Oh, for real?" It's like, "So maybe next time you might be ready. Next time you come up, like, yeah, give me like a year or two." I'm like, "Yeah,
A
I'm not
year or
gonna."
two.
Yeah, yeah. He thought he thought he was ready, and then he was like, "Oh, dang, Dad can still ball. Okay, no, we gonna wait." So that was funny. I was ribbing him on that. Like the rest of the time he was here, I was like, "You thought you was ready?" He was like, "No, I just thought you look kind of like you put on some weight. I didn't think you could still get up like that." I was like, "I did put on weight, but I'm not dead." So yeah, it was a good time. We hung out and did guy things. So it was good. Mom got to hang out with the grandkids. He wants to come back for the summertime. So yeah, it's all good.
Good, good. Two questions. One's directed to you. One's directed towards everybody. What exactly are guy things?
Sitting around and just talking to my about to be adult son as if we're two adults.
Huh.
Just, that trying to set the precedent that dynamic of I'm the dad and you're the son and I have things to teach you. Like between me and him, we had a conversation about all the things that he appreciates now that he didn't appreciate when he was living up here with us, the things he learned that like I don't need all of this stuff, I don't need all of this, I don't need to constantly be running the streets because he got used to not doing it. And then he moved back home and he was just like, this is all everybody's doing. Like I want to do more. And so he matured a lot after he moved out of the house, and he was just talking about how he now appreciates all those things. And so it was just us having conversations that were not dad telling son what to do. It was just us kind of conversing about the things we've learned, the things we've grown, just guy stuff. Just men having a conversation amongst men.
For sure.
Yeah.
The second question that I have, and this is for both of y'all. This is for all three of us, actually. It came across my mind yesterday. And I was like, I need to remember to ask the fellas about this. What percentage of yourself would you say you give to others? Like, what percentage would you say you give to your wife? What percentage would you say you give to your children? What percentage would you say you give to your friends? And then how much of yourself is left solely for you? Like, do you give yourself away? And I was thinking this because I spend a lot of time coaching youth basketball, coaching high schoolers, coaching AAU, coaching sixth graders. I would say that a good 40% of my life, 40% of my day is coaching. Because when I get off work, usually when school is in session, not during the Christmas break, of course, but when I get off work, I go straight to the gym. And I'm coaching my JV team. And after I get done coaching my JV team, I go from there and I go straight to Kid Austin's basketball practice. Or we go straight to his skills clinic. And if we don't go straight to his basketball practice, we're going straight to his AAU practice. And then by the time we get out of all of that, it's like 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. It's time for dinner and bed. So I would say like 40% of my time is spent coaching. When I'm at home, I spend a lot of time watching TV with the kids, playing video games with the kids, talking with the wife, hanging out with the wife. And I don't think that I get as much time away from everybody as I need to or as I like to. I would say that at least 30%, 40% of myself goes towards my family. And then there's like another 10% that goes towards really concentrating on work and podcasting. And no, let me be honest. 40% goes to the basketball team. Like 25% goes to my family. Let's be real. Because by the time I get done with basketball, it's like if you're not out there with me while I'm coaching basketball, you're going to see me when I'm tired and drained. And I'm sitting away from everybody. So on a day-to-day basis, 25% goes towards my family, 40% goes towards basketball, 15 to 20% goes towards podcasting, and then there's like 15% left that I need to figure out, like, does that really go to me or does that go to everybody else? Have y'all ever thought about stuff like that? Like, how much of you you're giving away and how much of you have left for yourself?
I don't think about it in terms of how much I have left for me, but how much I have left for my family.
Oh, I factor my family into the budget.
Oh, no, I don't. Because for me, doing for other people is doing for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not a factor in the equation. My factors in the equation are how much stuff am I doing for other people that are not my family, and then how much time am I dedicating to be with my family. Because there's me doing stuff for my family, which is the 8 hours a day, 5 days a week that I have to go to this place I hate going to get a check. And then there's the stuff I do for my family at night, which is trying to build this business. And then there's the stuff I do for other people, which is either for free helping them, which I did a lot this year, ain't doing no more, or getting paid helping them, which also helps them and helps my family. But all of that time that I'm spending doing things I love, which is helping other people, is time I'm not spending with my family. So for me, like, there's a difference between how much time am I doing stuff for my family and how much time am I spending with my family. And the answer to the with part is next to none. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I do the opposite, actually. I include my family, but I would say that in the last 2 years, I've cut about half of my time off. So 50% of my time is with my family, and I include myself in that. If they need something, if they want to talk, I include that time as a whole. Now, let's just say I'm wanting to pick their brains about something, see how they're doing, what do they think about this, because I talk to my kids a lot about issues. And they're like, no, I'm cool. Or something happens, then that's just me time. I'll either take a nap, I'll work on something. That's just for me. But the other 50%, because I used to fill all that time with work. So any minute I'm not doing something, I'm going to be working on something. And in 2018, I made I guess, an effort not to do that anymore. So my work hours are my work hours. If I get there at 7 a.m. and I leave at 5, that's what they are. 5:03, I'm not dealing with work. And that was hard for me because, again, that drive home, I would talk about work. If my boss called about something, I would talk to him about it. 35, 45 minutes. I'd be looking at charts, reports, all kinds of stuff when I had a down minute. And I was always tired. And so now, I guess the second stage of that is to make the time that I have meaningful. So now what I'm looking at doing is things that we want to get done, things that we want to do. I want to get those complete. I want to come up with a plan. Let's work it. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Versus just, oh, okay, well, nobody needs me right now, so I'm going to sit down and watch TV or something like that. I want to make my time meaningful.
What would you sacrifice to get more time for something else? What would you give so then you're able to give more? What would you give up to be able to give more, rather?
I don't really think, I'm not trying to sound like Gerald, but I don't think I have to give up anything. I think if I use my time more effectively, that I can do everything I need to do. I've actually started scheduling things, the last 2 years. I never did that before. And so, what I have learned is I would always look at that schedule and I know this is what I want to do in this time frame. But let's say, something comes up and I'm like, oh man, so I need to, instead of 2 hours I had for this, it's going to be 3 hours. And that's on my own doing. I've learned that. So what I do is if I schedule 2 hours for something, that's it. That's all. That's all I got. Only thing that I would say would change that would be personal things. If you guys wanted to talk about something, I'm gonna talk. If my kids, my wife, my brothers, my dad, my mom want to talk about something, we're gonna talk about it. And that's not something I would schedule. But for instance, if I'm on a conference call and it's supposed to go 2 hours, you'll see me log off after 2 hours and 1 minute. I'm gone. That's it. You got 2 hours, make your point. Or you got a 30-minute time frame. I stick to those time frames now, whereas before I never would. I might schedule it for whatever, 30 minutes, an hour, and if it goes 2 hours, I'm just gonna, be there. I've learned to guard my time. My time is valuable. I've assigned a dollar amount to my time, and if it's not worth it to that dollar amount, then I don't do it. And I thought people would be upset with me about that, but I've never come across anybody in the 2 years I've been doing this that is upset. So I just say, hey man, I gotta go. Let's talk about this again on Thursday. We can go a little further, something like that. And they've been like, okay. I've never had anybody had an issue with that.
I feel like maybe because so much of my time is invested in stuff where there's no profit. There's no chance of making profit out of it. And I don't want to make a profit out of it. I can't, and it's not something I could just walk away from. It's not just something that I could say, all right, y'all, let's wrap up this practice and we'll come back next week and we'll not, because there's a game this Saturday. They need to know these things. And I don't know. I feel like I don't feel like I'm burning myself out. I used to feel burnt out. I used to feel really burnt out, which is why I stopped podcasting for like a week or two or maybe a month. I don't know how long it was. But anyways, I don't feel burnt out or anything like that. I just feel like I'm missing opportunities. It's like catching raindrops for me as far as my time. Sometimes I am able to catch an actual raindrop, but even if I do, I can't tell. Like if I turn away from that raindrop for a second, I can't tell what it was supposed to be, what it once was, because it turns into something else, and it just slips through my fingers. I can't hold on to time, and I can't balance anymore. I feel like I'm not giving myself the time that I need to deal with whatever depression or whatever anxiety may place on my plate one day. I feel like I don't have time to deal with that because I can't be that person. I gotta at least act energetic when I'm around these kids when I'm coaching basketball. I can't just say, yo, I don't have the energy today. I can't come coach. The only thing that I can really give up is podcasting, but I like podcasting. I like talking. I like talking with y'all. I like the relationships and bonds that get built, and I like reaching out to people. So the only thing that I can actually give up to get more time would be the one thing that I definitely know I without anything else can't live without, and that's time with my family. I don't want to give that up. And so I feel like I'm locked into a place where all three of my primary things are not going to compromise their time. They're not going to say, okay, we will give you more time. And the one that would, my family, I don't want to. I don't want them to say that, because when they say that, I'm going to feel like I failed. Because they're like, yo, we understand and you need to take care of this. No, I need y'all more than I need this. And I feel like I'm placing my need to be around them over my own goodwill and my own health, but at the same time, they are such a reflection of my goodwill and my health. Like, I need them to function, that it's like I'm stuck.
I would tell you to take a break from coaching.
Can't do that.
I know you can't do that now. I know.
Can't do that. One of them pays me. The JV job pays me money. The AAU team is Kid Awesome's team. And I've been pushing for a couple, like 2 years to get this put together, and we're actually able to do it. And the third one, I've been coaching those kids since like kindergarten. They're my kids.
I have a question. Do you think you fill your time so you don't have to deal with yourself?
Yeah.
Because I used to do that.
You're damn right. But at this point in time, I filled my time with stuff so I didn't have to deal with it.
You gotta ride
and
it out.
all that stuff. Like, usually I would fill my time with fluff. So then when I'm tired of it, I could take a shovel and just scoop it, and it's not heavy because it's fluff. This time, I filled my time with concrete. So everything's set. And now it's granite, and I cannot move this granite out of my life. It's there.
So you said it's granite. I believe the family stuff and the coaching stuff is granite. But how is the podcasting granite?
I have listeners.
True.
I don't really know. I am addicted to talking. Even if nobody listens, I just love the feeling of getting my thoughts out there and my voice out there. Selfishly, I do that because I listen to myself when I'm riding down the street, and I make me laugh. I crack me up. So, I don't know. The podcasting probably isn't granted. Like, I would really have to sit down and convince myself, though, that there is no spoon. I would have to really take time, and I don't want to, because also there's a thought that, okay, all of my shows have somebody else associated with them. I don't want to let anybody else down.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that you stop podcasting, but going back to what Corbin just said, how do you schedule your podcasting? Like, are you doing a podcast every day, or do you have a day where you do all the podcasts? Or is there a way that you can schedule it where you say, hey, so this block of time, I'm going to do this show, and then this show, and then this show, and then this show. And then, like, another day of the week, this block of time, I'm going to edit and produce all of these shows and schedule them to go up. And then at whatever time you normally go up, you have them scheduled to do that. And then now the other 5 days of the week, you're not podcasting.
On Sundays, I have the Dream Team and Unburdened. On Fridays, more often than not, I have single simulcast. Sometimes we have storytellers when everybody gets their story done. That one is usually on a Saturday. That one's usually more up in the air than the other ones. But by and large, the stuff is pretty much set in stone until basketball season starts up, because during basketball season, we have practices on
Saturdays
Fridays,
and Sundays.
And we have games on Saturdays and Sundays. AAU tournaments on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to put a lot of things in flux. But by and large, I have these 2 days out of the week where I'm podcasting. It's not as big of a time as it used to be. That's what I'm saying. It's gone down to like 15%.
Yeah.
And so it's those other ones that are huge parts that they're not going anywhere. Not for a while. The basketball teams, like I said, those are my kids. I love seeing them. And my son has made friends with all of them. Family friends, the whole 9 yards. I can't just be like, all right, we ain't going to practice no more. He'd be like, wait, what?
Do you have an assistant, maybe?
Go.
That could take over next year?
Oh, my assistant coach. I did have an assistant coach. Really good dude. Still a good friend. But he had to take on another new job position. So he couldn't do that anymore. And so as soon as he left, because initially he was the assistant coach, and then some kids joined his team, so he had to branch off with his own affiliate program of ours. And then I came back, so some of the kids came and worked with me. So now we had 2 teams, and then he had to leave because of his new job. And so now I got like all these kids who used to work with me who are working with the assistant coach who are now asking me if I'm coaching. And I'm like, I don't have any room, so now I'm letting people down in real time. It's a thing.
But the question I have, you said you don't feel overwhelmed, right?
No.
So what's missing?
I want to do more for me.
Like what?
I want to go on vacation. I want to go. I would, if I could, I have a thing that allows me to watch a movie a day. I would love to go to the movies every single day and watch a movie a day. And I'm not just talking about like the big name movies like Vice or Aquaman or anything like that. I want to see some just indie movies. I just want to, like, I don't know. I want to sit down and read a book. I want to go out. No, I don't. I hate gardening. I don't know how y'all do it. But it's a thought. I want to be able to think about gardening and then not do it.
So, go the vacation thing. I mean, how are you going to go on vacation? Are you going to just be like, I want to pop up and just go? Or do you want to schedule it? Because you can schedule that time now for later on.
Oh, no, we got one. In this summer, there's going to be a couple weeks where we're not going to have any shows because we're going on vacation. We usually do our vacation in the summertime. So, but
what
right
would
now,
fall apart if you didn't do it? Because that was my biggest issue. I felt like everything would fall apart if I was not totally and 100% locked in all day, every day.
real talk, if I wasn't here doing Unburdened, would y'all be here doing Unburdened?
No.
And if I wasn't there doing single simulcast, Shantae wouldn't be there doing single simulcast. I know because I've asked her to do solo shows. I think she'd be great at it. The Dream Team would be okay. Jay and Scar would do a show.
But
I know that without a shadow of a doubt.
Don't feel like it.
Right.
2 weeks from now, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the question. Is like, okay, so you said would we be here doing Unburdened if you weren't doing Unburdened? And Corbin and I probably wouldn't, right? I would be playing Call of Duty right now because I've been doing nothing over the Christmas break. Are you playing on Xbox or are you playing on
PlayStation?
PlayStation, the old Call of Duty, like the remastered Modern Warfare 1. But anyway, he would be doing something, I'd be doing something, right? But the follow-up question to that is, what negative thing would happen if we didn't have a show? Like, there's been weeks where we just didn't have a show and the world didn't fall apart.
No.
Right? So if there's a week where literally the only reason we don't have a show is because you're like, I ain't got it. I just need a break. There is a break in my schedule during this period and I need to take it. Neither one of us would be like, no, Derek, you got to come get on this show. We would be like, cool, man. We'll catch you next week, right? It's not the world's not going to end, and this isn't the type of show where, oh, we got to get the hot take of whatever happened in the news this week. If we don't put it out now, it ain't going out. No. So it's not that kind of program.
Yeah,
we could totally do it the next week.
We could do it the next week if you just said the next week. I ain't got it. We could do it the week after that. I mean, it's evergreen, so people always have problems, especially black men. True. So we could do that. True. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, because I would do that. I would set up the world to be on my shoulders. I read some of the poetry that I used to write, like back until like 2013, 2014. The only thing that changed was I felt like the world was on my shoulders. And that was my mentality. I boxed myself in. Nobody did that to me. I did. And so everything I felt like, okay, if I don't show up for this, if I don't do this, if I'm not acting this way with these people, everything's going to fall apart. And the scariest moment was the first time I didn't, but then it didn't fall apart. They were just like, okay, well, we'll do this next week or tomorrow or 3 weeks from now or whatever. And that it really was that's how I got unburdened. I mean, I know the show's not over, but that helped me tremendously.
The thing is, for me, it's like I have two enemies in my head that work well together. And when they're enemies, I'm okay with that because they stay completely apart from one another. But when they decide to work well together, it is the worst thing in the world. And so,
It's like Jerry and Beth.
yeah, yeah. When the demon queen and the
And the worm, yeah.
the worm, yeah. I remember that episode. That was very, very, yeah. That's depression and anxiety.
Mm.
So depression will have me without the energy to do a show. But anxiety will have me thinking that y'all, our listeners, any potential listeners, and anybody else will immediately abandon me and will no longer like me if I don't do a show. And I know that it's not true. I know that it's completely otherwise. I know that the love that people have for one another isn't tied for the most part upon what others can do for them, even though it is in some way, shape, or form for some folks, and that's messed up, but that's a whole nother show. Doesn't matter. It's still right there. And so I sit there in agony because I can't do for others because I can't do for myself. And I wonder and worry about who am I letting down? And I know that that's something that I shouldn't think about, but I've grown up for so long in a what can you do for me, or what have you done for me, or what are you doing for me, or what is your benefit to me mindset. Like, other folks are like, yo, what can you do for me right now in order for me to continue to like you, that I can't shake it. And it's hard. Because I want to do for myself, and I want to do more for my family, and I want to be able to. Do you all know? For y'all listeners, today's show started a few minutes late because my beloved wife was blow drying her hair, and so while she's blow drying her hair dryers make noise. Like, who knew? Bald spot. Who knew? Hair dryers make noise, but she's like, yo, just let me know when the show's about to start and I'll stop doing this. And I'm like, all right, cool. But you're blow drying your hair. The show is not nearly as important as you. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I won't even, the guys were like, yo, y'all ready? And I was like, Nisha's blow drying her hair. I'll let you know when we're ready. And I was willing to just sit there and just wait for her to get done. And she was like, why didn't you tell me that y'all were waiting to do your show? And I was like, I really wasn't. You were doing your hair and I'm just chilling watching. I'm just, playing video games and having a good old time. And Nisha was like, nah, your show comes first. And I'm like, no, this is the one time that I'm like, yo, I'm going to put something else in front of my show. I'm going to put something else. I'm going to make sure that you're good. And I get pushed right back in. It's like every sign is pointing towards keep doing this show, keep working, keep pushing. And it's hard to shake that idea. That's the bottom line statement for that. It's hard to shake the idea that this show is for somebody, or that it is bigger than us, and that we are needed. And I think that me saying that I am needed, or saying that this show is needed, is another way for me to convince myself that I am needed. Because if I'm not needed, then I'm not necessary. And if I'm not necessary, then I don't need to be here.
You are
And
needed.
if I don't need to be here, then this whole thing can just stop. And I'm not talking about harming myself. I'm not talking about killing myself or any ideations. I'm just being completely honest. Like, if I don't see my worth in the world, then I don't have worth.
But the thing is, everything you just said is true. You're needed. But you got to take time for you, Superman. Batteries run down, sir. Our listeners do need us. And every now and then I get a comment from somebody that says, man, that was a great show. I have a friend that lives in Little Rock who listens to us. He's a truck driver. Listens to us all the time. Man, that was spot on. Good point. The week we don't do a show, you don't say nothing. It's fine. The next week we do a show, man, great show. I mean, it'll be there. And I felt the same way. I still feel that way. It's going to be a process. Man, you don't know how long I've been twitching and itching to get some things done that I just knew would fall apart without me. But they didn't. And that was good. But it's like the wolf is always scratching, man. It's always going to scratch. But the thing is, you have to take time for you to be at your best. Because I don't want no 30% you. I don't. I want the 100%. I want the one that won't shut up. I want the one that is constantly talking about 5 different things in 10 minutes. I want that. I don't want yeah, guys, it was, I don't really have anything. I'm tired. I don't really feel like being here. But, we got listeners.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that too. Like, not here, not yet. It'll happen, listeners. Just you wait. Single simulcast has definitely caught the brunt of that, where it's just like I have no ignition to do any of this, and I'm just burnt out. And I don't want to burn out anymore. I've burned out like 4 times now. I've burned down 4 times and broken down twice, and I don't want to. Breaking down is scary. Especially when everybody thinks you could just walk it off or just leave it behind, or that you're doing it for attention. Breaking down is scary. And it's yeah. Gerald, thoughts?
No. I don't have anything. I've just been listening to y'all go back and forth.
Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to step in somebody else's shoes and live that life where it's like I don't worry about this, and I don't deal with this, and I don't have to think about this because it doesn't come across my plate. And then I'm like, you know what? If I were to scoop those things out of my life, it's like life is like a sandbox. If I scoop those things out of my life, something else will just fall right in to replace that hole, to fill up that hole that quickly, and it'll be like, dang, I don't like this new stuff.
How about just saying no?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You don't believe in the power of no. No is very
I love the power of no. The only problem is being the youngest child of a military background family, no was not allowed.
See, I'm the oldest.
Certain things were not allowed.
Military family.
No was not allowed. Having an opinion was not allowed.
I agree with that part.
Like saying anything that they would think was disrespectful was not allowed. You were not allowed to have an opinion. You were not allowed to talk back. You were not allowed to voice anything. And then as the youngest, you were immediately looked at as the baby. Like, you were not allowed to grow up. You were not allowed to be able to walk on your own. You're just there. Like the eldest child, y'all get, whether you want it or not, responsibility placed on you at a very young age.
Yes.
To take care of everybody else, which helps y'all to mature faster or be a leader or things of that nature.
But there's nothing for us as the oldest. There's nothing for us.
You got to be an only child for at least a year.
Well, I was only child for almost 3 years, but I don't remember 2 of those, so it didn't really count. But yeah, everything is about everybody else. Mm-hmm. I am redoing my brother's resume right now to try to help him find a better job. Now, that wasn't something my brother asked me to do. My dad asked me to do it. And basically, it was one of the situations to where...
Did he ask you, or did you get voluntold?
I got voluntold. That's exactly what I meant. It's just like, and I would have done it. I mean, my brother could have said, hey, could you help me with this? I'd have been like, yeah, no problem. But my dad took it upon himself. Look, you need to help your brother. The job he's in, and they're cutting his hours, and he ain't going to talk to nobody. He didn't give him a chance. But I'm going to send you his resume so you can look at it, see what you think, change it how you need to, and then get it back, because we got to get him another job, which means I got to get him another job. Mm-hmm. Because I'm the oldest. I got to take care of him. And my brother is an able-bodied 32-year-old man who can take care of himself. But my dad sees him as a child because he's the youngest. You are right. He can't do anything on his own because he's the youngest. I'm the oldest. I have to do everything for everybody. It just is what it is. I mean, I want to help him, but at the same time, that's how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know single child. You don't know nothing about that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can check out on this one. You don't know nothing about that. So you're the youngest. I'm the oldest. We got both spectrums of military family covered.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was always the cousin, because of the cousins who were in like the same age range, I was the oldest of them. So, but I never got that stuff growing up. I got that stuff as an adult, and most of it was my female cousins like,
lady,
why is this dude trash?
Just go
and
for it.
then,
Sorry.
yeah, and then it would be, all right, so tell me the story of the things done. And then I was always the one explaining the trash to the women so they could understand why a guy was acting a certain way and then what they needed to do to either get them to act the way they wanted them to or to get rid of them. Like, that was the majority of my conversations that were, you need to help fix something. It was always, help me fix this trash dude, or help me figure out why this dude is trash. And that was basically the only time I had conversations like that.
So we have three completely different spectrums of a triangle here. And
that's good though.
Yeah, I don't even know why I talk to y'all. Y'all don't know nothing about where I'm coming from. Y'all know nothing about my lifestyle. It's just interesting. Like, none of this was supposed to happen. This show was quite simply because we were talking to each other on the phone, and I felt like we weren't talking enough. And it was like, yo, let's really be honest about this in a public place. Like, let's be completely honest about our lives in a place where we can't take none of it back, and it's all documented for future reference. And that's Unburdened. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm letting anybody down, because nobody would ever come up to me and say, you let me down. That's a messed up thing to say, first of all, to tell somebody else you were affected by their actions. Like, you let me down by the choice you made. Let me tell you how the choice you made affected me. That sounds completely like selfish and just a messed up thing to say. But as a parent, I'm sure I'm good at it. But I think I'm scared of empty spaces. I think that's what it comes down to. I want to keep myself so busy that I don't have to think about anything else. Like, I need to keep something programmed. Like, I've always hated, when I was a kid, I always hated summer break. Because the summer break, I could choose to do nothing, or I could choose to go out and play basketball with my friends or whatever I chose to do. But when I was by myself, those quiet times, those alone times, I hated it. And so maybe I'm still just trying to run away from emptiness.
You're running away from yourself, not emptiness.
I am emptiness.
No, you're not.
You crazy eyes.
No, I've done the same thing. I mean, anytime I would fill it with something else. Anything to not deal with me. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you will always wait yourself out. You're going to be there. If you don't deal with you now, 20 years from now, you'll still be there to deal with. 30 years from now, you'll still be there to deal with. It just might be more of you to deal with, but at the same time,
I think he's saying you're going to put on weight over the next 30 years.
I am not saying you're going to put on weight over the next 3 years, but
all the things I got for cooking this year, I'm about to put on all the weight.
Man, I got an air fryer, and I don't even fry food. So I'm going to try this in a second. I'm going to fry some French fries in a minute. See how this works. But yes, that's exactly what I mean. You're going to have to deal with it. Whether you want to deal with it when you're ready. You want to deal with it in small pieces. It didn't get there overnight. It's not going to get fixed overnight. But you have to make a point to protect your time for yourself. If that means telling your kids no, it's hard. It happens. Telling your wife no, that's the worst part. Telling any outside anything else no. You can do that. But like I do understand that you have those. You've already made some definite commitments in your life, and you got to see those through. And I would always say see those through. But if you can help it, don't do it anymore. I used to coach too. I don't anymore because I need that time for me. I mean, I love the kids too, but I don't love them that much. Not more than me. Nope. They lose to me every time. I had a guy explain it to me. He looked at it like drowning. If you are not a strong enough swimmer to save somebody from drowning, you don't need to go in the water. And so if you're already drowning, you don't need to fill yourself with other things. So, and that's when I was like, okay, whatever. I was coaching a flag football team, enjoying it. Parents got on my nerves, all that stuff. This is awesome. I'm drawing up plays. I'm thinking I'm a young black Steve Spurrier and all this stuff. And of course I'm not, but I did it for 3 or 4 years, but I was avoiding myself. I wasn't there for them. I was there to not deal with me. And they were my outlet.
I have 2 cards in my car right now for psychiatrists. And I'm scared to call them. I'm scared to call them because I don't want to know what they're going to say about me or what they're going to dig up or what they're going to find. And so I've had them in my car for at least a month. And I keep leaving them in the same spot and making myself forget. I don't want to deal with me. I have a lot to deal with. And I know how to make myself very upset. And I know how to make myself very emotional. And so
what if you thought about it not as having to deal with you, but as talking to somebody who can give you the tools to process the things? Like, because I think we all think about going to talk to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist as somebody who's going to try to, get to whatever repressed thing it is that we're blocking out, right? And force us into that space. But I mean, I think we had this conversation a little bit a couple weeks ago. It's like, it's just coaching, right? It's just like, okay, so here are some techniques you can use when this thing comes up. Here's a technique you can use, right? And then just walking you through how to process being you as opposed to being somebody who's going to sit down and play gotcha with your brain.
I think you're afraid like I am. I want to see a therapist too. But I've always been afraid that they'll be like, man, you too messed up. I can't deal with this. Oh, look, time to go. Woo, buddy.
You are the one they talked about in class.
Yeah, Jesus. I told my wife, my mentor, and everybody else about you. Oh, my God.
Yeah. But it's also, as soon as I start seeing anybody, I don't know. Maybe I like the attention. Oh, God, that hurt. Maybe I don't want to get better because if I get better, I won't have anything that and I don't know. There's so many things that go through my head. Like, if you start seeking therapy, first of all, they're going to cost a bunch of money. Second fear is they're going to turn you into a different person. Don't you like who you are? Don't you like yourself? Don't you like being around us? And then the third thing is they're going to think that you're just making this up, like you just want attention.
I mean, that's a really expensive way to get attention.
It is. I'm going to figure it out.
Just try it.
2019 is coming up very, very, very soon. And I think the first 15 episodes of Unburdened were literally Unburdened, parentheses, talking about it, close parentheses. I think Unburdened 2019 is going to be Unburdened, parentheses, being about it. Close parentheses. I don't know. I'm not, like right now I'm in a good place where I can actually make these changes and make these moves. But I'm scared of making these changes and making these moves because you get used to where you are. You know, you accept your position. You accept where you are both in a mental and physical space. And I think I've accepted it. But there's a part of me who's like, don't accept it. So I keep trying to bury that with this sandbox full of activities that I have. But I'm going to have to. I have the number. I just got to reach out and make that call. And take those steps towards getting unburdened. Fellas, this is literally the last show of the year for us. I want to thank both of y'all for taking time out to join me on this labor of labors and love and honesty. And I want to thank y'all for your honesty in these discussions. Because I can tell you right now, if y'all lied, I was more than prepared to lie too. I was, dude, my life is excellent, bruh. Let me tell you about what I did last week. Smiling right now. I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with y'all. So I'm grateful for your transparency. It means a lot to me. And I look forward to cultivating our friendship further. Listeners, I'm grateful for each and every one of y'all. Don't be a stranger. Like, hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever. Gerald is available on Twitter at GWJonesII. He is the creator of Dope Business Plans, which is still in the making, but you can actually get on a mailing list right now. If you go to dopebusinessplans.com, you can type in your email information, and when everything gets set up, he will hit you up. He'll also be able to send you interesting tidbits and invites, or interesting tidbits and thoughts about where the progress is of that company. Corbin is available on Twitter at State of Corbin. He has a YouTube video. He has a vlog that I would definitely say check out if you've ever been interested in craft beer. The state of Memphis, the state of Mississippi, the state of Tennessee, the state of Mississippi, and
Memphis is the state. We're good.
Yeah, don't do that to me. You know I go on single simulcast and literally say that it's the state of Memphis and get yelled at by everybody.
Well, everybody's wrong. I'm here. I'm telling you. It is completely different from the rest of Tennessee.
Don't do this to me. As a California narcissist, don't do this to me.
I'm giving you the key to Memphis, man. It's okay. They're wrong. People here call it its own state. I mean, like, how could you be upset about that? How people don't live here tell you, especially when I tell you it's okay, they gonna tell you it's not.
Y'all hear it right here. One of my best friends is from Memphis.
Don't say that though.
But that almost sounds like one of my best friends is black.
Yes.
But you can check him out on YouTube and on Twitter. He's also available on Facebook if you can find him. And Single Simulcast, The Dream Team, Storytellers, Unburdened, and Sin and Solace are all available at singlesimulcast.com. They're also available on iTunes. Oh, my God. And then Gerald has a podcast called... No? Not.
Don't know yet.
No.
Things are up in the air.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
We good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Man, I do.
Gerald is currently supporting my podcast, Single Simulcast, The Dream
Certainly.
Team. 20 minutes and in solace, storytellers. They're all available at singlesimulcast.com. They're also available on Google Music, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, just everywhere you could be at. And support the show through showing us monetary love at paypal.me/singlesimulcast. You can also become a Patreon at patreon.com/singlesimulcast. For Corbin, Gerald, and myself, I hope y'all had a wonderful holiday season. I hope that y'all were each able to do something that you didn't think you'd be able to do. And I hope you continue with that excellent progress into the new year. Y'all be good. We're out. Peace. You can follow the show at Unburdened Pod on Twitter. Voicemail is 916-572-9016. Email is blackinunburdened@gmail.com.